called Edgar Allan Poe on screen, and it has the subtitle Adaptation of a Tale, which is like a short story, like a conto, to a short film. Well, first of all, the objectives and the questions I wanted to answer with this project. The main one was to produce a short film based on a tale, on Edgar Allan Poe's tale. Then I also wanted to learn more about the audiovisual world and the cinema field because it is something I had an interest on, but I didn't know much about it, so I thought it would be interesting, and it's something maybe I want to study in the future, so I wanted to learn more. And finally, there was a question that came into my mind that was this one: if it's possible to produce a good short film without many experience and without great resources. And this was basically my situation because I didn't have a lot of experience and I couldn't spend a lot of money on the project. So I found it interesting to answer this question and to see if I could do a great work with this situation. So to get the information, I used several books, quite a lot of web pages, and I also did 2 interviews that helped me in the practical part. So the project is divided into parts, the theoretical one and the practical one. The theoretical one at the same time is divided in 5 different sections. The first section is about the author, Edgar Allan Poe, and here I talk about his life, a little biography, and also about his work and his style. Then the next one kind of connects Poe with photography and then photography with cinema. So it is like a timeline that goes from the first photography ever taken to Georges Méliès, who was like considered the first filmmaker that made horror movies. Then the next one is about the dark cinema. And here I talk about the different kinds of dark cinema, and I explain the main features of each one, and I talk about some movies that are typical from this genre. For example, I don't know if you know the movies, like this one, you know which one?
Aníbal.
Yes, it's The Silence of the Lambs, El Silencio de los Corderos, it was suspense cinema. This one is, yes, The Exorcist, it is terror cinema. This one is it is gothic cinema, and this one is gore cinema. So then the next section was about Poe's works on screen. So movies that are based, there are 2 types. Movies that are based on Poe's works, like poems or tales, and movies that are based on Poe's life. This doesn't mean that the thing that happened in the movies is real, only that Edgar Allan Poe appears as a character. And then here I also did a comparison between a tale, Edgar Allan Poe's tale, called The Mask of the Red Dead, and a movie based on that tale. So here what I did was to see the differences and the similarities. And then the last section of the theoretical part were 2 interviews. I first interviewed Leona, and she's a video clip maker. And then I interviewed Carla Roman, who is a comic drawer. And then both of them helped me in the practical part because they gave me advices or some kind of information that was useful for me. So then here it starts the practical part, which basically consists of producing the short film. And it is divided in 3 phases. The first one is pre-production, and it starts with choosing the tale I wanted to adapt. I decided to adapt this one, The Oval Portrait by Edgar Allan Poe, because I liked it and I thought it was not very difficult to adapt because I didn't need a lot of characters, a lot of complicated locations, and etc. Then what I did was to create the storyboard. Here I decided that the film was going to be a silent movie, which means that it has no dialogue, no narrator, at any word at all. So I had to make sure that all the story could be understood only by images. And then the next step was to animate the storyboard. I did it with a whiteboard and a stop motion technique, and the result was like a previous version of the final video. And as you can see in this short video, there are like similarities between the first version and the final video. And then I also had to plan all the shooting. I had to search for the locations, the ones that could be good for me to adapt the story. I had to prepare the locations, also to search for the attrezzo and the clothing. And finally, the actors that I'm sure you know some of them. They were Diego Hernández, Michel Paris, Aniol Kuderk, and Sergio Blanco. Then the next part was the production. Here there are some pictures. And it consisted basically in shooting all the videos that I needed for the film. And then the last part was the post-production. First of all, I had to edit the video, and I used this program, Wondershare Filmora, which is not a very professional program, but it's not very simple either. So I didn't want to use a very complicated one because I didn't have experience, so I would be so lost, but I didn't want to use Movie Maker. So it was like a halfway between these two. And then I had to choose the music. What I wanted to do was to use only pieces of one composer, and I chose the song that could fit in the last scene, which was the more tense. And then once I found it, it was Sonnet Number 5 by Beethoven. I chose other songs by Beethoven that could fit in the different moments. And then once this was done, it was the video finished. So well, the conclusions about the objectives, I can say that all of them have been fulfilled. I have produced the short film. I have learned more about the audiovisual world and more theoretical things that I learned with the sections about the cinema or photography, and more practical things that I learned shooting the video. And then about the questions, if it is possible to produce a good short film without experience and without resources, the answer is yes. Of course, it's not going to be like a professional result because that's obvious. But if you put your time, you work, and you put your imagination, it can be a good result. And then, well, about all the work in general, the result of the practical part is not what I was expecting, but this always happens, and you have to accept it. But anyways, I'm quite satisfied because after doing all the process and seeing all the difficulties, what is the final result, I'm happy about it. And about everything in general, I'm happy because I have learned a lot. As I said, theoretical things and practical things, that maybe if I study something related, it will be useful. And if not, it's something that I like and that I have liked to learn more. And well, then I have like a little part of the video, two parts of the scenes that I'm going to.
¿Paro?
Sí,
¿Sí?